Let's start with chapter number 6 from your political science book of grade 11, and the name of the chapter is law. In this chapter we will try to understand what is the meaning of law, sources of law, and different kinds of law. So let us begin. What is the meaning of law? The government of the state is basically a machinery of making and enforcing laws. So basically nowadays it is believed that the laws are made by the state and it is enforced by the state all over the country. It is through its laws that a state uses its sovereignty and carries out its function. So it is the law which reflects the sovereignty of a country. Sovereignty means when the country is free from external forces and can take its own decision by itself, no matter if the decision is internal, maybe domestic issues, or maybe international issues. The country is free to take its own decision by itself. So through laws it can be projected that the country is sovereign and can carry out its own function. Woodrow Wilson says state is a people organized for law within a definite territory. The study of law is therefore essential for every study of state and government. No study of political science can be complete without the study of law. Okay, so they are trying to explain here that the state, what is the state? It is organized by the people to make law, enforce it, and make the laws and enforce all over the country so that they can run the government and achieve their desired goals. Next, law, meaning and definition. Law means a unified rule. Unified means which is equally applied all over the country and is equal for everybody. Okay, means a unified rule of conduct which is applicable equally to all the people of the state. Okay, it is equal for all the people in the state. Next, law is a general rule of human condition in society which is made and enforced by the government of the state. Law is a binding and authoritative value made and implemented by the political system in its environment. Means the lawmaking body is having the authority, they're having the power and legitimacy. Then comes authority. How the authority comes? Where the organization is having the power and along with it, it is legitimate. It is having the legal values. It is having the legal acceptance of the people, and it is having the legal acceptance and it is being applied all over the country. Okay, so authority means power plus legitimacy comes authority. So you can say law is a binding of authoritative value made and implemented by the political system in the environment. Each state is having this system and they are making their own law to produce that they are sovereign. So each sovereign country is making their own law and applying it within the territory. Nature of law. Law is generally rule of human behavior in state. So you can say the law is applied all over the country and everybody is equally subject to the law of their state. Means everybody is equal in the eyes of law. Nobody is like rich, poor, this religion, that religion, caste, all this will not come into existence. Citizen will belonging or being the citizen of that country, law will be equal for everybody. Law is definite. It is formulated will of the state. Okay, any law which is made by you, made by me is not the law. Okay, it has to be formulated, accepted, and it has to be worked out by the government. It has to be applied by the government. state always acts through law. Law are made and enforced by the government of the state. Law creates binding and authoritative values. It prescribes what is to be done and what is not to be done. If somebody performs what is not to be done, he or she will be punished by the state. The police arrest the persons accused of breaking a law of the state. The court then decides the case and award punishments to the violators of laws. Okay, so police is just arresting if they are finding that the law is getting broke by somebody, and that somebody is then taken to court, and then court will decide what kind of punishment that person is going to get. But already in our constitution it is stated what kind of punishment that person should get. Constitutional law is the supreme law of the state, and laws made by the legislature have their basis on the constitutional law. So whatever the legislature is trying to make the law, they cannot violate our constitution. Like our constitution is saying, it is secular. Okay, they cannot make any kind of law which is hampering one single religion. Okay, they cannot take any decision which is you can say affecting maybe positive way or negative way to one religion. They cannot make such decisions. So this will go against the constitutional law. In each state there is only one body of law. Okay, each country is having only one lawmaking body, and we are having the parliament in India. The courts settle all disputes among the people, their groups and associations, and between the government and the people on the basis of the law. Whatever is written in the constitution, according to the constitutional law, every decision is given by the court. Theories regarding the nature of law, or you can say different schools of jurisprudence. So here time to time we got definitions from, you can say, different kind of schools who have defined law in their own way. But before I start this, I will like to say that no school have yet given a perfect you can say definition of law. Okay, somebody is reflecting some fact and somebody is reflecting some other fact, other truth. No definition here given by the 6 schools in your book is a perfect definition of law. Okay, first one is natural law theory. The theory of natural law rests upon the belief and there are inherent laws that are common to all societies because these are derived from natural universal reason. Okay, actions which are naturally right are never against natural law. Natural law exists naturally. Okay, try to understand this line. Natural law exists naturally, whereas positive laws are man-made laws. So man-made laws they are talking about is they are saying that these are the positive laws, and the natural laws already exist naturally itself, and those who are following that, they can never do wrong to anybody. Okay, those are the natural laws. Natural law, this theory holds that law are rational and reasonable. Natural law can be defined as a body of laws or principles derived from nature. Natural reason, which is universal and ethical, binding the whole human society. In ancient times, there were the Stoics, and the Stoics defined natural law is the universal system of law applicable to all human beings. Natural law inspires actions in accordance to virtue. Okay, so next came Cicero. Cicero also wrote that there is in fact a true law, namely right reason, which is accordance with natural applies to all men and is inchargeable to eternal. So here you can say that the natural law, they are trying to explain us that natural laws are already present in the nature, and whoever is following it is cannot do anything bad to anybody. Okay, so natural laws are already there and is applicable to everybody. All human beings have to follow the natural law. Who is making, who is applying, nothing is written here, right? The next is the analytical school. They are saying law is a command of sovereign, or that it is the command of the superior to the inferior. Okay, here they are trying to say us that the law is made by a sovereign power, and it is a command given by the superior to a inferior. Okay, the person who is much more superior is guiding who is inferior to them. Law is a positive law because it is creating a human superior, that is sovereign. So here they are trying to say us that it is a order kind of a thing going on. Okay, analytical school is saying it is a command, it is order which the sovereign force is giving to the inferior people. And the exponents means the main thinkers who have developed this analytical school are the Hobbes, Bentham and Austin. They are the main thinkers, and they have been criticized also. They have been criticized that the analytical school is neither objective nor valid. Okay, it is applied by the lawyers. It fails to take into account the customs, usage, morality, religion, public opinion, and also the main sources of law. So they have failed to take all these points in their definition. It follows a static view of law. Okay, next is historical school. Now they are totally against this analytical school. Whatever the analytical school have defined, they are just totally against it. The historical school of law holds that people themselves are the lawmakers. Law comes from the habits, traditions and customs of the people. The people obey it because of its fact, that not because it is backed by the force of the state. Here you can say they are trying to say that those who are the rulers, those who are ruling the state, what is their behavior, what is their opinion, what is their thinking, from there the law is generating. Okay, so the state will act, the laws will be made according to the behavior of the people, according to the habit of the people. All these things will get reflected according to the tradition, customs that country is following. All these things will get reflected in law because people themselves are making the law. So whatever is their habit, whatever is their tradition, whatever is their custom, everything will get reflected through this law. Again, they are criticized because they have again you can say failed to correctly view the natural law. It wrongly suggests as the law is a self-created and executed system of the people. It grossly overlooks the elements of command and force. So they have really forgotten these 2 points, command and force. They have not included this. Next is comparative school. Comparative school of law seeks the analyze rules of law by comparing the systems of law in operating in various parts of the world. Okay, whatever the law is getting operated in various parts of the law, they are just comparing different laws and then trying to analyze it. Laws, legal procedures, the legal system of various states have several similarities as well as dissimilarities. Comparative school tries to define law, punishment and justice on the basis of comparative analysis of various legal system. Next, we are coming to the 5th point, the 5th school, the sociological school. Here I would like to say that they are trying to reflect that people obey the rules not because it is commanded or backed by the force or for the fear. Okay, it is obeyed because of the conditions of social living, without which the society or the social living cannot be worth living. People will just become, you can say, they will have no control over themselves if there is no law. So the sociological school is trying to explain that people are following law not because of fear or punishment. They are following because they want to make the society a better place to live in. Otherwise, uh, if there is no law, then no human being can be within control. This is their point of view. The sociological school of law seeks to conceptualize law in terms of rules of social living. According to this school, law neither really a command of the sovereign nor really made by the organized body of men. To them, law is the name of the rules of conduct which men observe while living in the society. Okay, they are also being criticized, and they are criticized by saying that they have totally ignored the element of command, authoritativeness, force. Again, they have forgot to apply all this. Okay, next is the philosophical or the Marxian school of law. Here they were not concerned about the actual or the present law of the society. Okay, they were mainly concerned in developing the idea of justice as the ethical principle, and on this basis to create an ideal system of law for the human society. They were thinking of creating something, not they were not analyzing the actual or the present law of the society. Law as the body of abstract ethical principle of the justice. So you can say here that they're always saying that law is rooted in material conditions and reflections of organized attempts of the ruling class to exploit and legally justify its exploitation of the class. So again, the Marxist point of view or the philosophical point of view, they are saying that few people are there who is ruling the state, and they are exploiting the inferior people. They are exploiting, you can say, a few sections of people, and just to show that their exploitation is legitimate, they have made this organization called state, and they're making the law. Through this law, few persons, those are ruling the state, is exploiting the other classes. Okay, this is how they have tried to explain. Both philosophical and Marxian schools of law fail to represent the true nature of law. Okay, so both have failed. In fact, I'll say that 6 schools have failed to explain properly. A large part of law is nowadays formulated and enforced by the government acting as the agent of the state. However, along with legislation, customs, morality, usage, public opinion, and religion are also the sources of law. Likewise, force alone is not the sanction behind law. Okay, whatever the force is being applied, when the British rule was there in India, that time the Britishers were also applying force over India to accept their law. Did the Indians accept it? No, they didn't. To a certain extent, at the beginning they did, and later on they denied. So we cannot say that the sanction of a law is always with the force. Public opinion, morality, and particular obey. Okay, particularly we have to say that obeying the law which the people is willing to obey, that is also having a great sanction of the law. If people are not obeying, then law will not get sanctioned. In fact, the human nature and will to obey law is the most important sanction behind law. Okay, so we have to understand this, that law is made by the government, and the government is acting as the agent of the state, and the law is sanctioned by the obligation of the people. As the people are ready to accept it, people are ready to obey it, the law is getting sanctioned.